Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shah. Our top story, day after Supreme Court wraps the State Bank of India, the SBI has sent all electoral bonds data to Election Commission, thus complying with the Supreme Court order. Remember, SBI had sought further extension from Supreme Court, which the top court had refused.
Well, there are three aspects that need to be taken into account. One is what the Supreme Court had asked yesterday, that the entire donor list in terms of those who bought electoral bonds should be given, as well as the encashment in terms of political parties encashing those electoral bonds. So that data, that aspect has been submitted to the Election Commission by the State Bank of India in compliance with the Supreme Court order. The second aspect is about the State Bank of India, the Chairman and Managing Director, his affidavit. That too will be filed by tomorrow morning in terms of compliance to ensure that he does not get contempt of court. So that direction is also being done. The third aspect is about the fact that there were certain electoral bonds details up to 2019 which was submitted to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said forthwith the Election Commission, that means immediately, must publish that data on its website. It hasn't done so. Whether it will do it on the 15th of March along with the rest of the data or independently is anybody's guess. It's beyond 24 hours. We haven't got any correct view from the Election Commission. It's certain details that are still being worked out because it's a lot of data that it's a data mined wealth, because this is a wealth of information. Who are these companies? Whether they're shell companies, did they have NPAs, did they get any benefits in terms of government projects, how did this entire process go about it, were there any investigations against them? All this information through the KYC details will be made public. So it's in that context that it's extremely important that this information is being made public on the 15th of March.
Protests against CAA continue in Assam. Students' bodies like the All Assam Students' Union came out on the street in different parts of the state to protest against the implementation of the Act.
With the notification of rules for the Citizenship Amendment Act, protests have started once again in Assam, although this time the protest is low-key as compared to the protest that Assam saw in 2019 when the Citizenship Amendment Act was passed in the parliament. That time protests in Assam had turned violent. 5 youths among protesters were killed in police firing. But All Assam Students Union, which has spearheaded the protest since 2019, is once again back on the streets with its traditional way of protest that ASU had started way back in the 80s during the days of Assam Accord. They always come out in the evening with this torch rallies in protest. This time this rally is against the implementation of CAA. In fact, All Assam Students Union has once again done a petition at Supreme Court asking for a stay order in terms of the implementation of CAA. In fact, they want a fast-track hearing as well. The leadership there, led by ASU advisors Samujal Bhattacharya, taking out this protest march in the streets of Guwahati.
As politics speaks over the CAA, with several opposition chief ministers stating that they will implement it, the government has issued a point-by-point rebuttal to the allegations by the critics. My colleague Akhilesh Sharma explains the whole issue.
Well, the Ministry of Home Affairs has issued clarifications in Q&A format, and this is regarding the CAA, because the Home Ministry feels that there is some certain opposition from certain quarters because the rules were notified yesterday, and these Q&A are very specific. They say very clearly that Indian Muslims will not be affected by these CAA rules, because all the 18 crore Muslims, they have equal rights as any other Indian living here, and it is also only concerning the migrants who are coming from Pakistan, Bangladesh or Afghanistan. So this is one point which is very clear. They are saying that there should not be any concern or worry as far as the CAA is concerned. Second point, they are also saying that what CAA is doing is basically reducing the time period, the waiting period for the migrants to take Indian citizenship from 11 years to 5 years. This is the second highlight as per the CAA rules notified yesterday. And also apart from that, CAA has no provision for deportation because India does not have any agreement with any of these countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh or Afghanistan, to repatriate migrants back to these countries. So there is absolutely no question at all about any repatriation or deportation of anybody who is here, who is found to be living in India illegally. So there is no question at all. Nobody will be asked to show any papers. This is very important clarification given by the Ministry of Home Affairs, that whatever is being said in some quarters, some misconception is being created that some people have to show their papers, their citizenship papers. It is absolutely not necessary at all. It is not about showing their papers. This is what the Home Ministry clarification is saying very clearly. And they are also saying that Muslims from other countries can always come to India and seek the citizenship under the current citizenship rules, and there is no bar at all for them to not to seek or not to get India citizenship as per the CAA rules which have been notified yesterday. They are saying that as per the current rules, they can always apply, they can always come to India, and if they are eligible, they will be given the Indian citizenship. So this is very important clarification which has been given by the Ministry of Home Affairs. This is just to allay the apprehensions, because the last time when the CA was passed by Parliament and signed by President, there were widespread protests across the country, and of course this time around the Home Ministry does not want to take any chances. That's why there should not be any misconception, and that is why this Q&A format has been issued.
Musical chairs in Haryana ahead of Lok Sabha elections. With just days to go for the Lok Sabha dates to be announced, BJP has rejigged the leadership in the state. Manohar Lal Khattar has been replaced with Nayab Singh Saini, the state party chief. This as BJP decides to go solo in the state and breaks ties with the Jananayak Janata Party. So exactly what is the reason behind this political realignment in Haryana? Mohammad Ghazali brings us the details.
Weeks before the Lok Sabha polls and 7 months before Haryana's crucial assembly election, the state has a new chief minister, Kurukshetra MP and OBC leader Nayab Singh Saini, who replaced incumbent Manohar Lal Khattar hours after Mr. Khattar and the entire Haryana cabinet stepped down. The move came after the ruling BJP-JJP alliance broke up after failed Lok Sabha seat-sharing talks. The BJP was unwilling to give the JJP, headed by ex-Deputy Chief Minister Dushyant Chautala, 2 of the state's 10 seats. But the party was also hesitant about sacking Mr. Chautala, a move it felt could anger farmers and the Jat community. So the BJP opted to break up the government. At a meeting of JJP MLAs at Dushyant Chautala's Delhi farmhouse, only 4 or 5 of the 10 MLAs of the party turned up.
केंद्रीय नेतृत्व ने कहा कि आपको कोई और जिम्मेदारी देंगे, हो सकता है कहीं लोकसभा के चुनाव की बात आ जाए, और क्योंकि लोकसभा के चुनाव बिल्कुल एकदम निर्णय उसके होने हैं, मुझे ऐसी संभावना है कि शायद ऐसा हो सकता है।
पार्टी ने जो भी प्रोग्राम बनाया है उसनु कल दी जो मीटिंग है साड़ी हिसार दे विच जो रैली है डॉक्टर अजय सिंह चौटाला जी का जन्मदिन है, उत्थे उसका खुलासा सारे सम्मानित साथियों के सामने करांगे।
Haryana may have just 10 Lok Sabha seats, but it's still a state of the Hindi heartland and hence a crucial battleground for the BJP. And now due to these developments, there is a speculation that the former Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar may contest the Lok Sabha polls from Kurukshetra, which has now been vacated because Mr. Saini is now the Chief Minister.
The shuffle in Haryana's political landscape also comes amid a possible strengthening of the Congress's hand in the state. Last week, the BJP's Hisar MP Brijendra Singh joined the Congress. In the 2019 Assembly election, the Congress won 31 seats, up from just 15 5 years earlier. In the general election earlier that year, the Congress failed to win any seat, but finished second to the BJP in all 10 and saw a 5.5% increase in its vote share. At a meeting of BJP MLAs earlier today in Chandigarh, BJP observers were reportedly told MLAs and the state unit wanted a new hand at the helm to revitalize the party before the Lok Sabha election and the assembly polls later this year.
Mr. Saini's appointment as Chief Minister also represents the fact that how BJP is focusing on caste and OBC factor in every state before the general elections. The Saini caste, from which the Chief Minister hails, constitutes around 8% of the population in Haryana. In Panchkula, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
Congress has come out with its second list of candidates, with 43 names being included in that list. Several young thugs from the Congress like Gaurav Gogoi, Nakul Nath and Vaibhav Gehlot have been named as candidates once again. Gaurav Gogoi will contest from Assam's Jorhat, Nakul Nath from Chhindwara and Vaibhav Gehlot from Jalore. Meanwhile, there is uncertainty over whether party chief Mallikarjun Kharge will contest Lok Sabha polls this time. Sources say Kharge may sit out this time to keep an eye on the overall party preparation. Though party sources also suggest that they want several senior leaders to contest, several of them are reluctant. Kharge exhorted the senior leaders, pointing out that the party's call is supreme.
मेरा 83 एज है, आपको तो 65 में खत्म कर देते तुम्हारे रिटायर होने के लिए। नहीं सुनिए तो मैं 83 हूँ, नेचुरली हटता हूँ। अगर आप चांस दे सब जाके बोले हमारे पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं को लड़ने दो, उनको बोले तो जरूर मैं लड़ूंगा।
Time for a very short break. More news on the other side. A sessions court in Uttar Pradesh found 10 persons guilty in the 2018 Haur lynching case. This case is linked to the murder of 45-year-old Qasim and assault of 62-year-old Samiuddin on a false rumor of cow slaughter. Tanish Punjabi gets you more details.
Today, 10 accused were sentenced to life in a sessions court in Uttar Pradesh. Now, this comes just after almost 6 years after goat trader Qasim was lynched by a mob in Uttar Pradesh on fabricated rumors of cow slaughter. The local court convicted 10 persons for the brutal murder and sentenced them to life. That's life imprisonment. That's what the lawyer said. Now, if we recall a little bit, Qasim was among the most prominent victims of this lynching. Qasim was beaten to death near the fields of Bajera village in the Pilukhwa police station in Haur on June 16. In fact, one of the main accused in Haur lynching had even bragged about his role after he was released from the jail on bail. And NDTV also did a sting operation back then, and the sting operation, of course, led to was a major turning point. And today, all the 10 accused have been sent for life imprisonment and a fine of fine of more than 50,000 has been put on many of them. Yes.
The first ever crash of a Tejas aircraft was reported on Tuesday as a jet crashed in Jaisalmer during an operational sortie. This is the first time that India-made fighter plane crashed in its 23-year-old history. Thankfully, the pilot ejected safely on time. The Indian Air Force has set up a court of inquiry into this matter.
23 years after it first flew, an Indian Air Force light combat aircraft, also known as the Tejas, has crashed in Jaisalmer in the premises of a hostel. Fortunately, no one was hurt on the ground. Video has now emerged of the last few moments before the jet crashed. A parachute appears as the jet flies on.
मैं यहीं सामने अपने ऑफिस में खड़ा था, वहां से विमान शायद ट्रेनिंग के लिए आ रहा था, उसमें से एक पायलट कूदा, उसका पैराशूट खुल गया। उसके पश्चात मैंने सोचा ये विमान मेरे ऊपर गिर रहा है, मैं भाग के बाहर निकला और विमान सीधा मेघवाल समाज छात्रावास में आगे गिरा और क्रैश हो गया, ब्लास्ट हुआ। तुरंत हमने 100 नंबर पर सूचना दी थी और 10 मिनट पुलिस आ गई।
In a statement, the Indian Air Force says a light combat aircraft Tejas of the IAF crashed near Jaisalmer today during an operational training sortie. The pilot ejected safely. A court of inquiry has been ordered to ascertain the cause of the accident. The Indian Air Force operates two Tejas squadrons, the number 45 squadron and the number 18 squadron. India has invested heavily in the fighter with 180 variants of the jet on order. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.